Hi, this is Corinne Saunders with Outer Banks Insider. Welcome to our 5th episode of Down the Road, where we interview community members who live down the road from you. This show is sponsored by CMG Home Loans in Kildable Hills, North Carolina, and our subscribers get early access to the show as well as to all of our exclusive reporting. To become a subscriber today, visit www.outerbanksnews.org. We're here today with Jessica King. She grew up in Kildable Hills, and she was recently tapped to lead the Dare County Water Department. Hi, Jessica. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Corinne?
Good. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let our viewers know, you grew up down the road from me in Kildable Hills. Tell us a little bit about your childhood and then your educational journey and how you ended up back here.
Yes, I am from Kildable Hills. I've lived here my whole life. My parents moved from Virginia and New Jersey in 79 and 80. Both of my parents actually worked for local government down here for the town of Kildable Hills. My dad was the retired deputy fire chief, so I did kind of have a good introduction to local government just growing up. I went to Manio High School. I was actually the last graduating class before they opened the high school on the beach, which is kind of cool. And then I went to Virginia to college. I attended Randolph College, formerly Randolph-Macon Women's College, where I studied art history. After school, I came back. I worked my way up in the restaurant industry, which I did love, but about 4 years ago, I was ready for a career change, at which point I happened to find a position. It was the customer service supervisor position, and I felt like it was a fantastic fit with the water department, and I was excited about the prospect. It had a lot of similarities to what I was used to, especially with customer service, and so I applied, and there we have it.
Yeah, so you've been with the water department about 4 years.
Yes.
And recently you actually became the head of the water department.
Yes, I am the new public utilities director for the water department, yes.
Okay. And you said you're the first woman ever to lead a utility company in the county.
Yes, for Dare County, I am the first female director, which I think is very exciting for me and hopefully for others.
What does that mean to you?
I think mostly I find it empowering. I think it's a great example of it doesn't matter what field you're in. If you put your mind to something and you're truly interested in it and you have the support system, you can do anything that you want. I'm excited to be an example for other women who are pursuing maybe not your normal female-led fields.
Yeah, awesome. And so about how many employees are you overseeing now?
It's around 66.
Okay, very cool. And so Dare County has 5 water treatment facilities, according to its website.
Yes.
all across the county. 4 reverse osmosis sites, and then 1 that softens the fresh water on Roanoke Island. And back in late 1998 or early 1998 in March, the Coastland Times on its front page on March 12th actually introduced a fictional cartoon character named Professor Faucet, Professor Faucet. And he was kind of quirky. He had like a graduating cap on his head with a faucet attached on top. Do you have any idea why they first started rolling with this fictional character?
So from what I could find out, this character is actually not unique to Dare County. It's a character that was developed on one of the water associations in North Carolina, I believe in North Carolina, for different water systems to use as a customer outreach tool, essentially. And Dare County, along with other water systems, took advantage of it, and they ran Professor Faucet quizzes for 10 years in the Coastland Times.
Okay. Yeah. So these were just kind of quirky, like, lesser-known facts about anything to do with water.
So they did a couple different varieties. They asked customers and citizens to ask questions that they could answer, and then sometimes they came up with their own questions. And yes, they ranged from, important questions like, why does my water smell like chlorine, to silly questions, why are there air bubbles in my water, or why are hydrants, painted different colors, things like that.
Very cool. And so that went away after a while, and then it got relaunched recently at the end of 2024 with a kind of revamped Professor Fawcett. He's got a little bit longer hair, he's blonde, he is like a surfer dude type persona. So tell us about the new character.
So actually, the reintroduction is kind of a fun story. We were, reorganizing the office, going through some things, and I came across a photo album that had saved clippings of the original Professor Fawcett, and I started reading them and asking about it, and I was like, this is so much fun. What was this? And then I said to the previous utilities director, William Nash, I was like, this would be so much fun to bring this back. What do you think? And we just took off with it and ran with it and revamped it. Yeah.
And now there have been some new character introductions as well. Tell us about those.
So originally we decided to, with Professor Fawcett, kind of tweak him a little more towards where we live, like with the surfer guy vibe. And then we did add in his nemesis characters, and we have been including new ones over the course of like the reintroduction, just to address different water myths. We've had corrosion and Captain Freeze. Our newest ones are Rudy, as well as Summer Slacker. And then we do have one about calling 811, call before you dig.
Okay. And that's just to let people know to not hit the lines.
Correct. Yes, that's to let people know before you do any digging, call 811 to have the lines marked so that yes, you don't cause a water main break.
Gotcha. And so these fictional characters, you said these were created by Stephen Brewer.
Yes.
With the Rare Bird Design Sanctuary.
Mm-hmm, yes, and he's been fantastic. He's really taken our images or our ideas and created these wonderful images. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so some of the nemesis are seasonal, right? Like there's a freeze for the winter.
So the thought was to introduce them as it's a situation that would occur for you. For example, our pop quiz that we did in December was what causes pipes to freeze. And at that time we introduced Captain Freeze because he was freezing your pipes. And then so it's also like we're shooting for educating people in a fun way. And there is a bit of undertone to it. We hope that this lets customers and citizens know that we are approachable and that we are here to help. And Professor Fawcett is just our gateway character into that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Rudy was the spring one, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about him.
So our spring character Rudy is being introduced this month in our April pop quiz, and the quiz is why do tree branches break water lines? So I can't tell you much more about the character without giving away the answer, but she is a tree, a bush. She has a mushroom hat, which is very cool. She has vine hair, and she's really representing spring with her fresh flower blooms all over her character.
Yeah. And people can submit answers at what website?
Yes, so actually an email address. It's water@darenc.gov. You can submit your answers to our pop quiz question and have a chance to win a Professor Fawcett t-shirt.
Okay, and so there's a quiz every month.
Yes.
And every month people have the chance to win the t-shirt.
The t-shirt, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's new. That wasn't done in the 90s.
Well, actually, they did do a t-shirt for a little while. I think the t-shirt was more for submitting questions than submitting correct answers, and we're gearing it more towards submitting, answers. And so every month, yes, the quiz comes out. It's actually, you can see it in a couple different places, but you can go online. It usually comes out around the middle of the month, and if you just go to the Dare County website and search for Professor Fawcett, it'll bring it right up.
Okay, very nice. So what else do you think people should know about the water department that they might not?
I think one of the most important things that people should realize is that we are there to help them. We're there to answer their questions. We have an amazing customer service team. We have amazing plant operators who are, there every day, treating the water, making sure it's safe. And then we have our distribution team that makes sure that everybody gets their water. And I think sometimes people, they can get a little upset when it's this type of service, but we want people to know that we're there for them, we're there to help them, and we're there to guide them.
Right. And you service most of Dare County, just
Yes.
all across the county.
So we actually make all of the water for Dare County, but we distribute it to the town of Kildeville Hills, town of Nags Head, and the town of Manio. So they do have their separate water departments that customers in those areas deal with. Yes.
Okay, awesome. And what's the best part about your new job, would you say?
I think the best part so far is the new collaborations that I'm able to do. You know, previously I had my group of people that I worked more closely with, and now I get to widen that horizon, I suppose, with different people, more people. You know, we have a really strong foundation there at the water department that was set up, and we have people who have so much knowledge and so much willingness to share that knowledge. So just being able to work with them on a more, I guess, on an increased basis is really what I like the best so far.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, to catch all of our episodes, go to www.outerbanksnews.org.